Hi, everybody. This is Mondays with Mike, a weekly video series where I answer questions from people just like you. Here's this week's question. Are there times when the juice isn't worth the squeeze? I love that. I love this phrase so much. Sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Isn't that great? I don't know who said it, but it's awesome. Are there times when the juice isn't worth the squeeze, even in the face of undesirable consequences of ceasing the squeeze? Man, that is a good question.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? What do you think? You think there's sometimes, even if the consequences are going to be undesirable, it's just not worth it anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
There has to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, what would an example be of I'm going to stop squeezing even though the consequences will be undesirable? I guess if I didn't get a sale, like the effort to get the sale, if I put all this effort in and I'm working and didn't get it, so I gave up on the squeeze, and I guess that would be it. I guess maybe a relationship that you're working on, you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I think the short answer to your question is yes. There are times when the juice isn't worth the squeeze, even if the consequences of stopping the squeeze are undesirable. I can think of numerous times. Now, you asked this question, it feels a little bit like I'm giving you permission to stop squeezing, and I don't know what I'm giving you permission to stop squeezing. So you have to weigh the consequences, right? If you've been watching any time at all, you know, Marty has given us edification that sometimes you got to measure the energy input, so the output. So I think that's what they have to do, right?
Yeah, 100%.
They say, if I'm putting all this effort in over here squeezing. If I stop the squeeze, there's no more juice. What are the consequences of stopping the squeeze? What are the consequences of continuing? What are the upsides of continuing to squeeze? What are the upsides of stopping? And it's largely an analytical thing. It's not going to be a gut thing. You're going to have to really think through this. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a little bit of a challenge. So yes, the answer is there are times where the juice isn't worth the squeeze, even in the face of undesirable consequences of ceasing the squeeze. But it isn't just you just do it. It is you have to figure out what is the likely process if you keep squeezing? What is the likely process if you stop? And how long do you want to squeeze? I'm a big believer in I'm going to give this a time limit and then evaluate again. But if you're a viewer at all and you've been watching it for any time at all, you know I always say, never make life-changing decisions in moments of high emotional intensity. That means intense exhaustion, intense frustration, intense happiness. Never make life-altering decisions in those moments, okay? Hope that's helpful. If you have a question, you can send it to info@mikestaver.com. That's info@mikestaver.com, and we're going to work really hard to work it in. In the meantime, invite other viewers to join us on the Mondays with Mike journey. Share it in your social channels and TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere you can. Let's get the word out that there are answers to some of life's challenging problems, and they can get those answers right here at Mondays with Mike. Take care, everybody.